Hey, have you ever wondered what it looks like for you to become unbeatable? And what do I mean by that? I mean that you can't be bothered by everything that's coming at you, nothing that anyone can do or anybody's going to be able to take you down. If you want to know what that looks like, I have a story for you today that I think you're really going to like. Let's do it. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Chris Creed, and welcome to another morning activation on this Wake Up, Get Better podcast. I wanted to share a story with you guys today. Before I do that, I want to talk about maintaining a healthy vision. So I do this workshop called the Creative Codes, and one of the things that I talk about in there is having a really powerful creative vision and how throughout time there's examples you can go back and look at the people who are filled with this creative vision, almost to the point where they're tortured by it in some cases. But some people learn to handle it. And what I mean by that is that, like, sometimes we can see things so clearly in our minds that it can be frustrating that it's not moving fast enough. When that happens, and you've seen this throughout time, I feel like Ernest Hemingway is a good example. Vincent van Gogh, like there's all these famous creatives who created really powerful work and they had incredible vision, but they were tortured inside, right? And we tend to have this picture in our heads of like celebrating that. And I think that's a mistake. I think that's a result of not being able to manage the vision. So that's something we have to do as creatives, as owners. We have to be able to manage the vision. And even though it's so vivid in our brains and we can just see it and we want to chase after it and it seems frustrating that we're not moving fast enough, we have to learn how to manage that. And the truth of it is like you have to come to a place of acceptance. And that kind of brings me to what I wanted to talk about here today. So I have been practicing jiu-jitsu for almost 2 years now. Before I actually go into that, you need to know something about jiu-jitsu. Usually there's a guy who is fighting from the bottom and a guy who is fighting from the top, or girl. They're fighting from the bottom or the top. And when you're on the bottom, that can almost be just as offensive as a position as being on top. Obviously, the person on top has an advantage, right? They have their weight, they have gravity, they can easily influence the person on the bottom if they don't know how to defend themselves and how to be offensive on the bottom. And the other thing you should know is that I am 6'5", 300 pounds, right? So most of the people that I'm going with and going up against are much smaller than me. So something I have to watch out for is just dumping them off when they get on top. Like when they get on top, I just push them off, right? So last night I was working with this person, and I was on the bottom and they kind of came on this full mount and I was trying to like work and escape from there. And what I ended up doing though was just getting frustrated, and I put my hand in their armpit and just sort of pushed them off to the side and just pushed them off of me. And right at that time, the professor was walking by and he said, "No, Chris, no, get back on the bottom." He said, "More technique, less strength." And I said, okay. And I got back on there and ended up getting out using actual technique and not just brute force getting someone off of me. Anyway, it's a bad habit to develop for sure. But sometimes, obviously, it's useful. If you're in a competition or whatever, like you want to just shove people off of you, that's totally valid. Or if someone's way bigger than you or whatever, and you have the strength to do it, to shove them off there is a valid way to get someone off of you. The problem with that is that it exerts a lot of strength. Anyway, so fast forward to the end of the session, and I go up and talk to the professor, and he says, "Hey man, look, I know it's hard. I know that it's hard to work that when you get in that place, but it's going to benefit you over time." He said, "Because you're always," and this is the big point I want you to take away from this, the whole reason I'm telling you this today, "You're always going to be good from the top. You're always going to be able to do that. You're always going to be able to dominate from that position just because you're so large. Like you're going to be able to do that. But if you get good on the bottom, you can become unbeatable." And on the way home, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about how that's a really fantastic metaphor for creative work. When we have this vision of where we want to go and things are looking like they're moving that direction, and like everything we're doing is kind of working, and it seems like, oh man, we're getting where we want to go. That's easy. That's things being easy, you know? It's when things aren't working like we feel like they should, or they feel really hard, like you're being crushed, right? When those things are happening, you're not progressing towards the vision, things start to feel a lot more difficult, a lot more challenging. And that's when people get burned out. That's when they give up. That's when they become tortured by the vision. All these things, bad things that start to happen. And we don't realize the vision that we know we can get towards, right? But if you develop a peace that can overcome you when you're on the bottom, you can become unbeatable. Anybody can make things work if things keep working. Anybody can make things work if things keep feeling good. But the moment that things stop feeling good, the moment that things start to feel like they're not working the way you thought they would or whatever, that, my friend, is working from the bottom. And sometimes the only thing you can do in that position is to continue to develop the skill of getting out of the bottom and getting back to the top to go after the vision. Now, I feel like I've exhausted that metaphor, but I want you to understand that if you want to become unbeatable, you have to know how to operate when things are working and when things are not working. And I like I know I bring him up here a lot, but Myron Golden has this quote that I love, and he says, all work works. It's either working on you or it's working for you. And if you can shift your perspective to keep showing up, keep creating things, keep doing the thing that you feel like is going to lead you to the vision and taking the inspired action, even if it doesn't feel like it's going to work or it doesn't feel like it is working, even when you do it, that is working on you, even if it's not working for you. All work works. So I wanted to share that with you guys today because it was really powerful to me to hear that. If anybody can work good from the top, anybody can feel good on top. That's not a question. The question is what happens when you're on the bottom? If you can start to feel confident when things are down, you can become unbeatable. Hey, listen, if you're interested in becoming unbeatable, I have a workshop coming up next week that I feel like you're going to really enjoy. It's called the Creative Codes. And what I'm going to show you in there is a roadmap for how you can realize your creative vision so that you can experience more flow in your work, more focus in your work, have more creativity on a daily basis, and just generally be going towards the life that you want. So if you're interested in that, just go to chriscreed.com/codes and you can sign up there. The event's happening next Thursday. But until next time, y'all, try not to let the fact that you might be on the bottom, that you might be a little down right now, that you may not be progressing like you want to, don't let that stop you from realizing your vision, from getting the life that you want and pursuing the life and business that you desire. Because remember, even when things are down, if you can learn how to still progress when things are down, you can become unbeatable. All right. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Slow down. There's nothing to get you